Welcome to the Department of Family and Support Services Legal Assistance Services RFP webinar. The release date is August 28, 2020, and the due date is September 25th, 2020.
Well, hi, everybody. My name is Tom Mose, and I'm with the Department of Family and Support Services, and I'm just conducting the webinar remotely with Lisa and her colleague that she'll introduce to you in just a minute. But I just want to go over some housekeeping. That due to the volume of the participants, everyone has been placed on mute. We want you to submit your questions via the question box, and we'll respond to questions after going through the slides. And please use the question box that's in your right-hand side on your dashboard to notify us of any technical issues. And with that, I'm going to place myself on mute and advance to the.
Thank you, Tom. The agenda for today will be welcome and introduction, purpose, background, program scope, selection criteria, timeline, technical assistance for applicants, and eProcurement questions. Again, my name is Lisa Mani, and I'm the supervisor for Department of Family and Support Services, overseeing the Elderly Rights Program, where providing legal services falls under my umbrella. I will be facilitating this informational webinar session with my colleague, Julia Talbot, who is the Senior Policy Advisor for the Department of Family and Support Services, otherwise known as DFSS. I would like to take a moment to welcome you to this webinar and express my excitement for the opportunity to collaborate with you in an effort to enhance the lives of our most vulnerable population in the city of Chicago, our senior citizens. As I'm going through this webinar, it may be advantageous for you to have the RFP accessible, as I will be referencing it throughout this presentation. Next slide, please. Purpose of the RFP: provide legal services, including but not limited to legal assessment, legal counseling, free services, legal and social service referral and coordination, representation before judicial, administrative, and legislative bodies, and community education and outreach. These legal services are specifically targeted to older individuals with economic or social needs. The legal assistance provided to older persons has a clear and direct positive impact on their ability to stay independent in their homes and communities. Legal assistance services are funded under Title III-B of the Older American Act. Legal assistance also protects older persons against direct challenges to their independence, choice, and financial security. Next slide, please. The Legal Assistance Services Program will defend seniors from age and other forms of discrimination, as well as protection from abuse, exploitation, coercion, and violations of such acts as the Nursing Home Reform Act and the Americans with Disabilities Act. If you would turn to page 4 in your RFP, in bold print, it states, the program will not handle criminal or fee-generating cases. The program is designed to provide older individuals legal assistance, including tax counseling and assistance, financial counseling, reverse mortgage, foreclosure counseling, counseling regarding appropriate health and life insurance coverage, and representation of individuals who are wards or allegedly incapacitated and in guardianship proceedings. Next slide, please. Goals. The goal of this program is to ensure that seniors receive the legal assistance services they need. Programmatic success will be defined more by the quality of the services delivered and the outcomes, ensuring that client needs are met. This could equate to 195 seniors being served and/or 2,466 units of service minimum. On page 5 of the RFP, number 3 states, 1 unit of service is 1 hour of service by staff person working on a case on behalf of an individual. In the next paragraph, in a special case scenario, if a client exceeds 75 hours units of service, then the selected respondent will be required to obtain approval from the DFSS commissioner or her designee in writing before providing additional units of service to that client. Next slide, please. Target population. This program will respond to older persons over the age of 60 and or their informal caregivers. The Older Americans Act specifies that services be targeted to older individuals with greatest economic need, with greatest social need, at risk for institutional placement, with limited English proficiency. Next slide, please. Program requirements. The Legal Assistance Services Program is comprised of the following components: eligibility, individuals age 60 and above, individual with the greatest needs, access to services, citywide, in-person or quarantine appropriate communication, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Unit of service. Services will be administered and tracked on an hourly basis. No individual client can exceed 75 hours of service without DFSS approval. Next slide, please. Program requirements. You can reference on page 5 in the RFP my next point. I'm referring to point number 4 at the bottom of the page where it says Legal Assistance Direct Representation. The primary component of legal assistance services is the direct representation of seniors in a wide variety of legal matters. This program is specifically not designed to address fee-generating cases such as personal injury or workmen's compensation or criminal cases. Legal assistance activities include intake, interview, and clarification of legal questions, legal research on behalf of clients, education concerning legal rights, including community education, advocacy to secure needed and entitled benefits, and representation in court and in hearings by an attorney at law, a trained professional, and or law student. The legal assistance provider will give priority to legal assistance related to income, health care, long-term care, nutrition, housing, utilities, protective services, defensive guardianship, abuse, neglect, and age discrimination. Reference page 6. Legal issues areas to be handled by the provider include, but not limited to, age and disability discrimination, bankruptcy, collections, creditor problems, consumer fraud, contracts, warranties, entitlement to income, nutrition and public benefits, grandparents or other relatives raising children, grandparents' rights, guardianship, elder abuse and neglect, family issues, health and long-term care, home equity conversion, reverse mortgage, home ownership, landlord housing, loans, installment purchases, planning for personal security and autonomy, public housing utilities. Next slide, please. Program requirements. You can reference page 8 in the RFP. Referral and intake. The selected respondent is responsible for coordinating and scheduling services based on 3 priority levels. Emergency referral. Client is contacted immediately and aided and provided within 1 business day. Urgent referral. Client is contacted within 3 business days, and a determination is made within 7 business days. Standard referral. Client is contacted within 3 business days, and a determination is made within 30 days. Client screening. The selected respondent is responsible for the following: developing a standard intake tool in order to screen clients for case eligibility, conducting a legal screening of the client to determine case eligibility, notifying clients that their case is appropriate as per the guidelines above and has been approved for services in writing via email or U.S. mail if email is not available. Next slide, please. Program requirements. You can reference page 9, number 7 in the RFP case determination. If the case is determined to have legal merit, the attorney assigned to the case must contact the client via phone or in person within appropriate timelines based on type of referral. Grievance process and satisfaction survey. The legal assistance program captures clients' experience in 2 ways, through a grievance process and through a consumer satisfaction survey. The respondent is responsible for developing the tools to capture complaints and evaluate services. Results of those surveys evaluations must be shared with DFSS quarterly. Next slide, please. I want to reference page 10 for the continuation of program requirements. Client contributions. Pursuant to the Older American Act, OAA, all clients must be provided the opportunity to contribute or donate to the cost of their services. Contributions are strictly voluntarily, and no client will be refused service for not contributing. All collected income must be used to expand the services of the provider under this part and supplement, not supplant, funds received for this program. My point here is that all income collected must be used to expand program services and must be used in accordance with program guidelines. Program income cannot be used or viewed as unrestricted dollars. Moving on to outreach, the selected respondent must conduct outreach activities to ensure participation of eligible individuals in the program. Such efforts may include, but are not limited to, virtual and, if practical, in-person public presentations each quarter, or other methods to reach a broad cross-section of residents throughout the city. Next slide, please. Program requirements. Staff qualifications and requirements. The staffing pattern must include appropriate management and supervisory staff and legal staff to provide quality legal services. The selected respondent must ensure that all paid staff attend at least 8 hours of such training a year and should encourage all volunteer Prono staff to do the same. The selected respondent will perform, at a minimum, semi-annual internal monitoring of workers' performance and effectiveness in providing legal assistance services to the elderly. Background check. The respondent is required to obtain criminal background checks, which include an electronic fingerprint check. My point here is that anyone who is on the phone or talking with a client, engaging in any way, needs to have a background check. Next slide, please. Performance goals and outcomes. The success of legal assistance programs will be defined by the following performance indicators. 80% of clients responding to the DFSS provided satisfaction survey indicate that the legal assistance services help to improve the situation for which the client sought services. 80% of the client responding to the survey indicate that they feel less overwhelmed by their legal issues. 80% of the clients surveyed indicated overall satisfaction with the services provided. To monitor and recognize intermediate progress towards the above performance goals, DFSS will track output matrix. 195 people or unduplicated clients served annually, provide at least 2,466 units of service minimum. On average, it may utilize 12 to 20 hours, but there may be those cases that 75 hours may be warranted for extenuating circumstances. Next slide, please. Selection criteria, strength of proposed program. DFSS seeks respondents that clearly define the legal services to be provided that are appropriate to addressing needs of and achieving desired outcomes for the target population, demonstrates the experience and capacity to provide the services directly or through partnerships with other agencies that are outlined in the scope, demonstrates a clear understanding of the target population and their needs and challenges, propose a program that is supported by a strong national or local evidence base and or aligns with best practices for the relevant field, have an effective approach to engaging and retaining program participants, including rules and regulations that reduce barriers to participation, and solicits and incorporates client feedback into their program model. I would like to reiterate, read the questions carefully and showcase the work you do. Get to the quality of your work. Next slide, please. Selection criteria, program performance, outcomes, and quality. DFSS seeks respondents that demonstrate evidence of strong past performance against desired outcome goals and performance matrix and or other notable accomplishments in providing services to the target population. Having systems and processes needed to track and report performance on program outcomes. Experience using data to inform and improve its services or practices. Having systems and processes needed to collect and store key participant and performance data. Next slide, please. Selection criteria, organizational capacity. DFSS seeks respondents that demonstrate qualified staff responsible for program oversight and management, adequate systems and processes to support monitoring program expenditures and fiscal controls, adequate human resources